Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. It's the Calzone Cuber. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to solve the clock using the 7Simul method. Isn't 7Simul like the hardest method though? No, Jeremy, we talked about this. So sorry about that, guys. Now that we're out of the way with that, let's make this setup a little cleaner. There we go. Alright, so today, as I said, I'm going to be teaching you the 7Simul method on a clock. But not just any 7Simul method. You see, there are a ton of 7Simul different methods. There's this one, made by this guy. There's this one, there's this one. There's so many, but I'm going to be showing you none of them. Today, I'm going to be showing you this one called I don't think that's the right way. Bpaul 7Simul flip. Now, you hear the word flip in this, and you think, what does that mean? Well, flip means flip the clock. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, 7Simul is a flipless method, right? Well, this variation, you flip. And you also probably think that makes you a lot slower, which I thought too. But I podiumed at my state championships with this method. I have claimed 5 awards with this method, and I have gotten a gold medal with this method. So if I can do all of that, you definitely can. Before we begin this video, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. We're trying to reach 200 subscribers and get sponsored by the Cubicle. So if you want to be a part of that whole journey, please leave a comment that you want to be a part of it, subscribe, and like. Alright, so let's hop right into the tutorial. Alright everyone, please follow along with the scramble that is currently on screen to do to your clock, because I've already done the scramble to my clock. Okay, so now, like with any 7Simul method, we are going to begin the memorization process. Don't click off. It is very simple memo. It does take a bit to get used to, but not too long. Stop it, Spider-Man. You're not the star of this show. It doesn't take too long to get good with this method, just a little bit. Or get memo. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start from this face, and later in the video I'm going to show you how to take advantage of different skips and stuff. We already have a pretty good one up here, but you'll see that later. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is R to D. Now, when doing clock, you have to understand there is such a thing as positive and negative. Positive is clockwise, so right now I'm doing a positive 2. And negative is anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. So right now, I'm doing a negative 2. So we see that this clock to this clock has to do a negative 2 to match together. So our first letter is negative 2, or number. Now, we're going to flip over the clock, and we're going to do this to this. So that would be L to UL. And that would take -3 because it would go 1, 2, 3. So that is negative 3. So now we're going to add negative 2 and negative 3 together, which gets us negative 5, which I'm going to type into my computer because I might forget memo and you might too. Now, when doing negative 5, if you get that in your memo, a really good thing to start doing is to convert only negatives to letters. Positives you can leave as regular numbers, but you want to convert negatives to letters. Trust me, I didn't think it would be easier, but as soon as I learned that, I was able to complete the method. So negative 5 would actually be E, because here's a little key on the side, wherever I put it. 1 is A, 2 is B, 3 is C, 4 is D, 5 is E, and 6 can just stay 6, because if we do 6 on the clock, it is the same, well, if we do negative 6 on the clock, it is the same thing as positive 6 on a clock. So, for 6, we just use 6. So our first letter is E. Next up, we are going to do this to this, U to C, which is 0. For this one, you can either use 0 or O. It's personal preference, whichever makes it easier for you. But we're just doing this one to this one. Then next, we're going to do this to this, L to U, which we can see it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 5 moves to do. So that's just a straight 5. That's not an E because it is not negative. It is positive. Then we're just going to do the exact same thing we just did, but in a different kind of way. You'll see. So we're going to do R to D as we did, which, as you'll see, takes -1 moves. So that's -1. But we're not done with that yet. We flip over and do this to this, which is another -1. So -1 plus -1 is -2. And if you remember from earlier, that is B. So our next letter is B. Then we're going to do this to this to this, which is 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 5, which we have another E in our memo. And then to finish it off, we are going to do this clock to this clock, which is a -4. So that is going to be a D. So let me just memo to make sure I got everything right. Okay, I did get everything right. Now, before we begin the solve, a way to remember the numbers during the solve is either making like 2 single-digit numbers a double-digit number, or making words. In the memo we have in this case, we don't really have any numbers that we can convert, but we do have the word bed. So it's much easier to remember EO5 bed than EO5 BED. So just remember EO5 bed. Okay, so now we are going to start with pin order and what moves to do. So the first thing you want to do when you start your solve is you want to have these 3 pins up and this one down. And then what we are going to begin doing is M1 with this hand and M2 with this hand. So M1 is a -5, so we're going to do a -5 with this hand. And M2 is a 0, so we don't have to do anything with this hand. Next, we are going to put this pin down and match this clock to this clock, just like that. And with this hand, we are going to do M3, which in our case is another 5. Then, the rest of this side is going to be completely intuitive. We put this pin down, and we're going to match this clock to these two, while matching this to these two, like that. Now, an important thing to note right here is, as you'll see, with this one, I used the U move, but I didn't do this. And that is because in this method, you don't have to use a single D move. You can just use this clock to control this, which will match that little block. So now that we've completed that, we are going to do the flip portion of our solve. And if you did everything correctly up to here, you should have this 2x2 block built and this 2x2 block built. So now that we've flipped, we're going to do the same pin order with the exact same things. It's basically the same thing on each side, but we will do a little bit of something different at the very end because it's 7Simul, 7 simultaneous, not 6Simul, 6 simultaneous. So we can't do exactly the same thing on each side. All right, so we're going to do the same order with this one down and these 3 up. Now we're going to do M4 with this hand and M5 with this hand, or this hand. So M4 was B, so we're going to do B, 1, 2, or B, and then we had E for M5, so we're going to do the E, like that. Now we only have one M left, and we're going to put this pin down, match these two, and do our last memo to move, which was a D, which is -4 with this hand. So we will do a -4 like that. Okay, now the rest of this method is completely intuitive, but just to be aware, if you did everything correctly up to this point, you should have something like this on your backside. And I mean, just something pattern-wise. All of these clocks matching. They don't have to be L at 4 for you. And on the side that you're currently executing on, you want to have these 2 matched, these 2 matched, and these 4 matched. They don't have to all be the same. They just have to match each other. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this pin down and match this whole 2x2 block with these 2 while pushing this to match the block, like that. And then finally, we are going to do basically what the AUF of clock. adjustment upper face. Like when you have something like this on Pura or 3x3, you just do that to fix it. This is basically that for clock. We're going to do this pin order, which is called a backslash, or just a slash, I forgot which one. And we are going to align each to 12. So with this hand, we're going to align this to 12, and with this hand, we're going to align this to 12. And if you did everything correctly, the back will be solved. Alright, so now, if you apply the scramble on screen, you'll get something like this. And I just kind of want to go over other ways, like you can get creative with this method, and just what to do in general. So we see a scramble like this, and we see these two clocks are matched, which if you go back to M2, you realize that that is going to be 0. And zeros are good things in our memo because it means less moves, which means faster, which means better times, all that. So a way we could do this to take advantage of this is put this on the back bottom. So when we start memorization, we will have this 0 in our memo, which would be really, really helpful for us because, as I said, that makes you much faster. So you can start memo from any orientation, like I said. It's sometimes much easier to start memo in other orientation, very much like in this case where these two are matched, because it can just optimize yourselves. So now what we're going to do is kind of a little test, not really, but a little bit. And I'm going to have you get from this orientation, where you have this bar in the back, and I want you to memo. And just memo on yourself, try without the video, and see how far you can get. And it's okay if you have to write it down. This is just a kind of a test to see if you know what to memo right. So I'm going to memo too on cam, but I suggest you pause the video now. Okay, so if you got D04, D04 413, then you did this correct. And I'm going to check that I did the memo correct because I could have mismemoed by doing a solve with it. Okay, so that was a really bad solve, but I did solve both sides to 12. And also, when you use a different orientation during the backslash portion of it, when you have something like this, you don't want to just align it down or up. Please make sure you align to 12, because that's a common mistake for many beginners. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for today and this tutorial. If you have any questions, please ask. I will definitely answer your comment, help you with anything you need help with. If I have trouble understanding your comment, please realize that I just don't understand what you're trying to convey, and try and say it again, maybe less confusing. But yeah, that is how you solve the clock using the 7Simul Bpaul flip method. And as I said before, this method can definitely take you places. I podiumed in state championships. I have 5 awards. I have a gold medal. I mean, this method has done a lot for me. So thank you for all of those who watched this video. Once again, please leave a comment if you don't understand anything, and drop a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace, everyone.